Ciso. Oh, it's fabulous! A strike to get you up off your seats.
Hello and welcome to Seagulls Social, the Manchester City away preview. I'm joined by Jack Albion and Maz Mizadeh. I'm so happy to be back. I'm so happy to be with the boys. Maz, how are you?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you, Ben. Great to have you hosting. Great to have you on the pod, actually. It's always
Thanks.
nice when Ben does decide to turn up. So, no, thanks for turning. Thanks for gracing us with your presence, Ben. And I am fantastic and looking forward to 7 wins in a row.
Good, glad to hear, mate. And yes, you know, doing charitable work on a Monday night, doing this podcast is what we do around here. Jack, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good. I'm wearing a lovely San Marino number for representing my home nation.
Don't remember
San
asking,
Marino.
to be honest, but that's cool.
No, but there you go. You can have that. Thank you.
No, it looks great, Jack. Everyone in the comments, let us know.
Don't listen to Ben. I like it a lot.
No, I do like it. I do. Off air, I even said it's a good shirt, didn't I? Let us know. Rate Jack's t-shirt in the comments below out of 10. Yeah, let's do that as well.
Yeah. And just for a bit of context, this because Jack has got half San Marino-y blood in him, however you say it. So
and the other half, if you know, one for the regular watchers remembers that I had a Nigeria shirt on, it's because I'm half Nigerian as well.
Yeah. So it's a good mix. Good mix, that, Jack. Do you know what? I'm surprised you didn't become a footballer.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
I think anybody who's seen me play football at Battersea Five-a-Side on a Thursday night knows there are many reasons why I'm not a professional footballer.
I can't wait to go and see you play, Jack, because that is just up my road and that'll be fantastic for me. I will one day. Well, we'll be there. But first of all, before that happens, we're probably going to play Man City before I ever see you play there. Actually, unless you're playing there this Thursday, Jack, then I might come.
No, Wednesday.
Wednesdays?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Maybe I actually will be able to come. What time are you playing?
Excellent. 5:00. Come find me.
Okay, sick. All right, I'll talk to you after the podcast because I actually might need you to do something as well for me. Because basically, Sport Bible video is going to get played around the Power League bars or like on repeat. So
nice.
Yeah, so I need to film some people actually like pretending they're enjoying it, which would be cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, Brighton are playing Manchester City at the Etihad this Saturday. Can we do 7 in a row after losing 7-0 to Forest? Thank you very much. We've won 6 on the bounce in all competitions. Will we make it 7 against Man City, Maz? I've
got every confidence that we can. However, I don't think we have a good record against Manchester City, especially away. I believe we haven't. Is it true we haven't beaten them away?
Never beaten them away.
Yeah, never beaten them away.
Since we've come back to the Premier League, I believe we have in like the 80s.
We must have beaten them at Main Road or wherever it used to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the current Premier League era, we haven't beaten them away. So yeah, that again. I mean, we broke the Fulham curse. So why can't we break the Man City curse? Especially the way that, like, funny enough, I was speaking to someone earlier about Man City's form, and I can't believe. So since October, they've lost 15 times in all competitions. That's Champions League, Cup, which is insane. Like, you look at Man City of past, I don't think they've lost probably more than 5 or 6 per season. And the fact they've
under Pep.
lost. Yeah, under Pep. So 15 losses this season. Since October, That's just since October. Which is insane. So they're there to be beaten. Obviously, had a bad result against Forest last time out. Lost 1-0. Obviously, Forest are a very good side. I'm not contesting that. But yeah, look, Man City, I feel like are there for the taking. So why can't we do it? It'll be a massive achievement to get 7 in a row. We didn't believe we could get 3 on the bounce, 4 on the bounce. But we've done 6 now. So why can't we do 7? But yeah, it's going to be a tough game. Like I said, we haven't beaten Man City at the Etihad, so it's not going to be an easy feat, but you never know.
Yeah, it's made to be broken, that one, and I'm pretty confident that we can do it as well. Apparently, they really didn't turn up against Forest in the 12:30. Obviously, we're a good footballing side, just like Forest are, so maybe we do have a chance, Jack. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to damper expectations after Maz has been like, there's no reason we can't go there. I do fully agree with Maz. Like, I think in our current form, there's no reason we can't go there and get 3 points and really show them what we're made of. But at the same time, I do think, like, as a fan base, we always get far too carried away with ourselves. And I think we do start to dream big, and there's nothing wrong with dreaming
that I
big.
agree with.
And, like, I think in the terms of, like, the reaction if we don't win, I think there's got to be some expectation that there is still a lot of talent in that Man City team. Like, let's not pretend like, as much as they're in very bad form at the moment and Pep seems to have lost his mind, as well as his hair. He seems to like. That's an ironic comment coming from me, isn't it? But yeah, there's still a great team there. You still got De Bruyne, you still got Haaland, you still got. Marmoush. He's even played really well this season when they've not been playing that well. So there's still an unbelievable wealth of talent in there. So if they do just turn up out of nowhere, then I wouldn't be surprised either. So I think it's very. I'm seeing it as a free hit. I think that Fulham game, that was the game I sort of had down as we'll lose. Or we'll draw, and we've come out with a win. So I think it's really good to have another opportunity to sort of go, right, next game, we can relax a bit. I don't think the players will be thinking that. The players will be thinking, like, we're going to go for this. But as fans, as expectations, we can relax them a little bit, bring them down a bit, and sort of go into this game with confidence, but not arrogance, if that makes sense. Like, I still think they're an amazing team when they want to be, and they're the reason they've dominated for so long, and they are having a particularly sticky patch. But the Etihad isn't what it used to be. Isn't the sort of cauldron, the impossible place to go. And I don't know whether that has to do with how they treat their fans, because they're not great at treating their fans very well at the moment. They seem to make high ticket prices and get rid of season ticket holders and all of that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I don't know whether this is sort of like, is this a waning era for Man City? Who knows? But it's they're still a great side on their day, aren't they? So, yeah.
It's weird. It feels like we're more confident. I know you're saying you don't want to get arrogant, but it feels like we're more confident going to the Etihad to play against Man City than we were to play at home against Fulham, which is mental, which is very, very strange. But no, it's true. Yeah, I do feel, definitely more confident of getting a result against City, which is very strange to say. Like you said, despite them still having the likes of Erling Haaland and Phil Foden on their team. Jeremy Doku could be tricky, but what's that meme about him? It's like he can only like play well against a fullback that's over 32-year-olds, does it? Yeah. How old's Joel Veltman? Because if he's back, then we should be all right. We should be all right.
It should be Hinch.
Hinch, it could be Hinch.
Or Lamptey will be available again after the suspension. Okay. So we'll have options back because I think it'll be good to I like Lamptey as an option, so it's always good to have that as an option in there somewhere. So I reckon he'll be quite good at dealing with Jeremy Doku if that needs to, because I think was it last season where we had Milner versus Doku and it was.
It was last season because that was the March injury, wasn't it? I remember we were joking in the preview of that, and we were like, imagine Milner gets put up against Doku, like almost laughing about it, thinking there's no way, because I think he had featured a couple of times in that position at that point in the season, and then it actually happened. You're like, why are we doing this? And didn't Milner get dragged after? He got
dragged at half time. Yeah. So I mean, hopefully not a repeat of that. That's not. I just think that was probably like the perfect scenario for problems there. I thought I can
confidently say that James Milner will not be playing at right back on Saturday. So if anyone is worried,
what was different last year, I think, was City had a bit of a tenacity about them, and they were really, really good at like seeing the game out. We brought it back to 2-1 through Ansu Fati, which was about his only Premier League contribution he ever made for us, it seemed. And he sort of dragged it back. We got a little bit tight. They got a bit tighter. They brought on Grealish, who I thought was really, really good at holding the game out. So it'll be interesting to see how that sort of changed, because I think a lot of their problem this season has been they've got no bottle. Like they keep on throwing away leads. You only need to look at the final game in the Champions League and all sorts of games. So it'll be interesting to see how we sort of deal with that and how they deal with us.
I think you mentioned it earlier, Jack. Like this whole aura, if you want to use that word, around Man City. I feel like that's dissipated so much in the last 6 months. I feel like that fear of playing Man City's gone now, which just go back to last season, they were the most feared team in Europe, not just the Premier League. Teams did not want to go up against Man City, and it feels like since the beginning of the season, I don't know what's happened. I don't know whether it's Pep, changing the system, whether they've got a lot of aging players. Well, in certain areas, like for example, De Bruyne is not as effective as he once was. Obviously Haaland's still a
Rodri.
Well, of course. I think that's just elephant in the room.
I find it baffling that it's just down to one player.
That's
crazy, isn't it?
I think it is, Ben. I think he is that good that when you take him out of that side, and maybe that was what Pep didn't do well. He relied so much on Rodri that when he was out the team, he didn't have a plan B. He didn't have a like for like replacement with Rodri. Maybe that's down to Pep not identifying that.
It could be a depth issue as well. Like, taking Rodri out that side, maybe the replacements just aren't quite up to standards. I mean, you think that a lot of their player relies on that really, really good CDM. Before Rodri, they had Fernandinho, who's an incredibly underrated player who played that role really importantly for them as sort of like a midfield enforcer and that sort of stuff. And I think, we look back at the beginning of the season, you had that Arsenal City game, didn't you, really early, where Trossard got sent off and they scored really late to get a point.
Haaland.
Yeah, Haaland did all that. And we sort of thought, right, it's another season of Man City dominance. And lo and behold, we look 10 months later and both of those teams are really struggling. So, well, I wouldn't say Arsenal really struggling, but,
starting to now.
Yeah, a little bit. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. I think Rodri, I don't think it can solely be down to one. I think there's a multitude of factors, but Rodri's obviously a big one. It's interesting that, like,
I feel like it flies under the radar, that the fact.
Yeah, massively. And he's not a player who. He's not a player who you sort of watch and go, "Wow, that Rodri performance was amazing, was it?" He just sort of does it in the background, doesn't he? And I remember for years, like Fernandinho sort of in the background doing really well. Nigel De Jong, when they won the league, was really good for them in that position.
The young sung heroes, really, aren't they?
Yeah. So I do think there is sort of like, I think I discussed this in a Leicester podcast after we lost to Leicester, that maybe the era of these system managers who play this amazing system, maybe it's over a little bit. Sorry, this is getting a lot deeper than it ever needed to. Maybe it's over. Maybe the winds of change have found football. And
well, everything comes full circle, doesn't it? Soon, in a few years, we'll probably be playing 4-4-2 again. I mean, Arteta's already started trying to do it, having a team of like just 4 centre-backs and that sort of thing. So it will eventually come.
No, 100%. No, it's just trends, isn't it? It's like a rotating. It's like fashion, right? You see bloody what do you call flares are back in fashion now. And they were popular in the 70s, 80s. It's like generally football's very much the same. You go through cycles of systems and the way managers go with the game.
Sure, it's very strange and just something I plucked from my memory. Capello was talking recently about how Pep ruined football because everyone's trying to copy him at the moment. And it does sort of seem like, maybe people aren't trying to copy him because I think Arteta...
they don't want to do it right now.
Well, I think Arteta's a great example of that. Arteta was trying to play football like Pep, but he was never going to be Pep. He was always going to be second best Pep. So maybe teams have been like, right, we've got to find another way of playing. So not to do this whole breakdown on why City are crap now, but I think this is a reason we could get a result there because Herzler is a sort of adaptable manager, which is like the kryptonite to Guardiola's system. And, he can change things up. He has, we're all massive now. All our players are big, aren't they? We haven't got any little, other than wee little Lamptey. But, they're all quite big, aren't they?
Yeah, like our technical players like João Pedro and Rutter, they're very big guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, yeah. Exactly.
As AJ says. Well, let's look at the Man City team again in focus. Obviously, players are pretty out of form and that, and we can see what Phil Foden has done in the past. He's an incredible player. Erling Haaland's still a fantastic striker. But yeah, Maz, who are the City players that do worry you, even if they have been a little bit out of form recently?
This is a very tough question because right now I don't look at even Haaland. I'm not fearful of Haaland as I once was. Do you know what? We spoke about him briefly. Doku for me, I think Doku is shown recently, especially in the last sort of 5 to 6 games, that he's starting to develop his game a bit more rather than just being this sort of quick, pacey winger who can beat players at times. I feel like he's now becoming a bit more technical. I think maybe Pep has. Instilled something different in him. And I know, again, his output's maybe not the best still, but he is starting to add a few assists, a few goals to his game, which obviously we speak about even with Matoma, for example. If there's one person right now, probably Doku, which sounds a bit mental because, he can be ineffective at times and not really impact the game as much as he probably want. But yeah, if I had to go with someone, it would probably be Jeremy Doku.
What about Marmoush, though? He didn't start for us, but... He looks very raw and he's exciting to watch, isn't he?
Got his opinion recently.
Yeah, against Newcastle. That's the player who I'd pick up, Marmoush. He didn't start against Forest, which I thought was a bit strange. You know, he's a striker who's in form.
Saving him for the bigger game against Brighton, obviously.
Well, yeah, obviously. And no, I think Marmoush, I really liked him when he was at Frankfurt. I thought he was a really quality player. You know, you get these sort of players who you don't really see under the radar, and they sort of do well in the Bundesliga, and there's always that worry that they could come to England and just completely flop because the game is too fast. You know, I mean, Dennis Undav is, to a certain extent, is that. I mean, he did have some good form just before he left, but he never quite adapted. And I did worry, but Marmoush looks a really quality player. You know, Newcastle, a hat-trick against Newcastle was really, really good. So yeah, that's a player who I think might go under the radar, and we might find some trouble with.
That does worry me, that you reminded me of that Newcastle score, because if they can just suddenly turn up and beat a team of Newcastle's qualities like that, then that's a big, big worry. Plus, that was at the Etihad as well, right?
This is the thing, like, you look over the results over the last few months of them, they've obviously got some really bad results in there, you know, like really struggling to get through the cup against Leyton Orient. I mean, they had a lot of the big guns out that day. And it took them to bring on De Bruyne. Same against Plymouth. They had to bring on Haaland and De Bruyne to win that and see that through. So you see those results. But then also, like, randomly, you know, as much as they lost to Forest 1-0 at the weekend, they did beat them 3-0 just completely at random in December. So this is what I mean. Like, the quality is still there. And if it all comes together, like, you know, as much as we worry that Haaland, I think, he's having a dodgy bit of form, to the fact that I'm more worried about Chris Wood than I am Erling Haaland at the moment. And then, you know, I still think De Bruyne is the best player I've ever seen play live. I mean, he's fantastic when he's on form. He's an amazing player. And I think he can turn it on. He's just got injuries and age has caught up with him a little bit. So, yeah, there's still a lot of danger.
Unk's not got it, man.
Yeah, maybe Unk hasn't got it anymore.
Definitely lost it.
Yeah, hasn't got it.
Like you said, Jack, he's an incredible, like, at his peak, like you said, arguably one of the best players, you know, in the last 10-year decade. Like, he was that good. He was a leading player in the Premier League. However, yeah, I don't think he's the De Bruyne of old. But whether he turns it on, and I agree with you, Jack. It's not this game, of course. Man City are going to go into it favourites. That's you know, that's normal and that's standard, and probably rightly so. They go into it favourites, but yeah, there's chinks in their armour that I think that we can get at, and whether we do it, that's a different story. But yeah, they're there for the taking for sure.
And going on to our team, are there any change that you'd make to start 11? And obviously, so in the last game, obviously you had Hinchwood at right back, was it Baleba and Ayari at centre mid, and then it was that same front four, Rutter, João Pedro and Minton, Matoma on the wings. Is there anyone you bring in, Maz, that make a little bit of a difference there?
I personally would bring Lamptey back in, and you know, controversially, I would actually bring him in for Estepinian and not Jack. I would bring him in for Estepinian at left back, and then have Jack at right back as well, and then have like a Ayari or a Gomez alongside Baleba, and then keep the rest the same. Or maybe do I introduce Welbeck? But it's tough. João Pedro is obviously buzzing off that last minute winner. Listen, I'm happy I'm not Hurzeler. It's great that he's got all options available. But yeah, maybe Lamptey first opinion and Hinchwood at right back maybe. But I do like Jack at centre mid. So yeah, it's a real... It's a real... Basically, I haven't answered the question. So, yeah.
No, that's fair. I do think that front four of ours can really cause their defence some problems. That, like, the young defender Kurzanov, and I can just see our players, like, knocking that ball around too quick and causing a lot of issues for the defence. But Jack, the same question to you. Any changes at all? Well,
it's interesting that Maz does like Jack in central midfield, because it shows that somebody has been to Battersea Power League and watched me, because I am very good at central midfield. I actually quite like Maz's idea. I think Purvis, he still doesn't quite look fully fit. I actually thought he had he had a better game than he has done recently against Fulham, despite a lot of people not thinking he was very good. I thought he was fine. He just had a bit of rusty moments at the beginning. I wouldn't be against bringing him in at Lamptey in at left back and Jack on the right. And then as the game progresses a bit, like we have done in a couple of other games, maybe Purvis comes on and, you know, Jack can move up into midfield and we can swap a midfielder around or make some changes. I think we've got... In central midfield, we've got one nailed-on position, which is Baleba for me. I think Baleba starts every game. for me. And then I think who plays alongside him is always up in the air. Like, I think Ayari came in at the weekend and I thought he was good, actually. He runs a lot. I think his stamina's really good. I think that's really good. Jack can play there. Diego Gomez started against Bournemouth and looked fantastic. I mean, like, his sort of vision is really good. He's obviously been learning.
He's very, very direct, wasn't he?
Yeah, and Weaver came on at the weekend and did really, really well as well. Matt O'Reilly can fit in there. So, you know, and we still really haven't seen the best of him. I think Matt O'Reilly, he's had a funny old season, really, hasn't he, with the injury within 10 minutes. And it almost feels like he's never really fully recovered from it, which is a real shame for him because he's an exciting player. And he can play further forward. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see sort of who plays in that midfield role. I wouldn't be against starting Gomez or Weaver there. But if Ayari sticks on his thing, because, you know, he's played arguably the best team in the league this season. And I think we all remember his first half performance against Liverpool was top notch. So I'd be all in favour of a completely unchanged 11, but also a couple of changes here and there. It's pretty... It doesn't matter to me that much. As long as the core stays the same, I wouldn't want to see anything change up front.
Yeah, just quickly as well. I think really interesting. We mentioned the midfield, centre midfielders. I think that battle's going to be really interesting because you've got Nico Gonzalez for them and Bernardo Silva most likely being that partnership. I feel like if you've got a Baleba and even like you said, all the players you mentioned, whether it's Ayari, whether it's Gomez, whether it's whoever, Hinchwood. I think that midfield battle is going to be so important. I think we could win that because Nico Gonzalez hasn't impressed me so far. I know he's a quality player. He's come from the Portuguese league and he's probably going to come good at some point. But right now, hasn't impressed me that much. Bernardo, obviously, an incredible, such a good footballer. But again, hasn't been on his pinnacle and his top form. So, yeah, why can't we go into that why can't we boss that midfield and really stick it on Man City? But again, yeah.
He hasn't done too bad, the Gonzalez guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
maybe,
he's not been awful, but he hasn't impressed me.
Just he's being compared to Roger, I guess. It's big shoes to
Yeah,
fill.
yeah, it's true.
The last point, maybe a bit of a concern for me. You can tell me if I'm wrong. You probably will. I don't know. Something worries me about Jack Hinchwood against Doku. Jack being at right back there, that does worry me a little bit.
I mean, anyone you stick there is going to have a tough time, really.
I just feel like with Doku you'd need a natural fullback, even more so a quick one in Lamptey. I feel like Lamptey would be.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be one of those ones where I think we're going to have to see on a day. That's why I'm not fully against Jack being pushed into midfield and Lamptey coming back into right back. It's a hard problem. It's a hard problem for Hersler to have, but it's a good problem for Hersler to have.
100%.
I do. This is something though. Like genuinely, I think Hersler and I think all managers in football, if it is going really shit with Doku and somebody can't handle him, don't be afraid to make a change before half time. It's not that embarrassing.
100%.
If it's just going wrong, just don't sit by it. I mean,
that's what happened in the Forest game, Jack. When we were 2-0 down
yeah.
by 30 minutes, whatever it was. I was like, make a change, do something.
Make the changes
Jack,
now.
Jack is dying out there on his own in the midfield.
Yeah.
Make a change, and he refused to do it, and we got absolutely punished.
Yeah.
I know, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Get someone if they are struggling, just make a change, make a sub, change the system.
But
do whatever you need to do.
not to say it will, but you know,
of course.
that was but I think you're very, 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 very valid point there, Ben.
Thank you. We're gonna, before we wrap up, let's do score predictions. I'll go first, so you guys have a little bit of time to think. I was thinking about it. I was going to say a draw, and then I was going to say 2-2, but then I was like, we'll see score 2 against us. I think we've got more chance of scoring 2 goals compared to them, so I'm going to say 2-1 Brighton. We're going to win 7 in a row. That is going to happen. Maz, I'll go for you next. Maz.
It's a tough one. I like being positive, but I also want to be realistic today.
Doesn't 7 in a row sound so good though?
I know it does.
After losing 7-0.
I know. It's written in the stars, really. But I'm going to be slightly negative. I'm going to go with a draw. I'm going to go with a score draw. I'm going to go 1-1. But, yeah, it pains me to say not a 2-1 win.
I'm going to go 7 in a row. So it's going to be...
Yes.
7-0. No, I think it's going to be...
that would be the most poetic way to end that.
7 all. No, I do... Right, I've got a theory behind this. My genuine prediction. I think we're going to draw 1-1. Now...
Big theory.
There's a theory coming here.
Huge if true.
I have watched Brighton versus City in recent years. And the scores have been 4-0, 3-1, 2-1. So by now, the natural progression should be
yes
1-1. 1-1.
I like that.
So there you go. Or 7-0. I'm going to go 7-0. 7-0.
Cool. I'll take
Brighton,
your 7.
I'm assuming.
7-0. 7 in a row.
Brighton, I'm assuming, Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to clear that up.
Yes, to Brighton.
Yes.
Obviously,
Good.
Mass, come on.
7-0 to Brighton.
All right, well, you heard it here. Brighton 7-0. I'm going to win, and that's going to end us. Well, that's going to continue our winning form. It's going to be incredible. I can't wait. Thank you, Maz. Thank you, Jack. We get to enjoy our Monday nights now, if that even is possible. Watch Married at First Sight Australia, because there's a new season. Just got involved. Maz is telling me about it. Sounds great.
A lot of drama.
A lot of drama. Yeah, a lot of drama. But yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you post-City on Sunday.
Yeah, you won't see me, because I'm going drinking in Manchester.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so it'll be me and Ben, I think.
Yeah,
we might
try
try
to
to
get
get
someone
Adam.
else on.
Try and get
Adam's
Adam.
about.
See where Adam is. See where he's hiding. He hides even more than Ben.
Wow. Cheers,
Yeah, he's
mate.
MIA more than Ben,
Yeah.
Missing in Adam.
Missing an Adam, nice, I like it a lot. On that note.
on that bombshell. Peace.